Hello, I'm Stacy Green, and I'd like to share my case study, Internet Use Violations, Threats Over the World Wide Web, EDL 850, Summer 2012. I will be focusing on ISLLC Standard 5. The building level administrator is an educational leader who promotes the success of all students by acting with integrity, fairness, and in an ethical manner. I am the principal of Roosevelt High School. I have been here for 9 years. I'd like to share a recent internet use violation situation with you. This issue challenged me to stay grounded in theory and best practice and challenged me to reflect on my role as a building administrator. Before sharing the violation that happened, I'd like to give you a little bit of background knowledge. As I shared, Roosevelt High School is where I am the principal. It is in an affluent area of a large city. I have been here for 9 years and feel well established. I was awarded Principal of the Year by State Secondary Principals Association. I'm respected by parents. I recommend the most highly qualified teachers for available positions and most recently hired Miss Cindy Walker. Cindy was hired as a first-year teacher, but she has a master's degree and a year of postgraduate hours. She is currently in her second year of teaching here. She's established a structured classroom atmosphere focused on academics. She teaches specialized science courses that have a high level of rigor. Students enrolled in her classes experience a high level of stress, and complaints have been made by the parents of these students concerning the workload and instruction. Recently, Miss Cindy Walker received a threatening email that linked to a website that contained personal, critical comments and a threat. Our relationship, of course, as her principal and she as the teacher, has been getting her settled into our district, but most recently we've been discussing techniques for Miss Walker to implement to reduce student stress and improve interactions with students that are more positive. I must say the implementation of techniques has not been successful. Category 1, identifying the problem, sharing a little bit more about our student body. Most of our students have parents who are professionals, such as doctors and lawyers. As I shared earlier, we are an affluent area of the city. Many of our students aspire to be valedictorians or salutatorians, especially those who are taking these higher level science courses. Ms. Walker has identified one student in her classes that she believes is capable of carrying out this violation. There are some things I still need to know. What is the school policy for our internet use? Was the policy reviewed and signed by students this year? Does the evidence that's gathered indicate there may be harm done to Ms. Walker? Where did the email originate? Who was the creator? And what support does Ms. Walker need during this process? There may be a situation where adult monitors are needed in the classroom. Identifying the problem. One of my teachers, Ms. Walker, received an email that linked to a web page where she is the target of highly suggestive comments about her personal behaviors, critical comments about the rigor of her classes, and a final comment on the website suggests a threat. Category 2, proposed plan of action with appropriate strategies for implementation. Step 1 will be evidence gathering and preservation. I do want to note here that at any time we feel like this has gone beyond the realms of the school district, it will be turned over to the local law enforcement policies. Throughout that, even if it is turned over to local law enforcement, we will continue to preserve the evidence and advise Ms. Walker to do the same. Reporting the incident to my superintendent is also part of this plan of Step 1. We will seek to identify the creator or creators and search for additional material on the World Wide Web, and we will evaluate the content directed at Ms. Walker. Step 2, providing support to Ms. Walker. It's very important that I monitor her well-being. I will also meet with staff to share the incident and ask for their support, all while maintaining confidentiality of who this attack has taken place on. I'll ask that they be aware of student discussions regarding the email and the website, and that they report these immediately. I will also respond assertively to her needs so that she may continue to work in a safe environment. Step 3 will be to seek resolution. Once the author or authors are identified, formal discipline will follow. Staff will be communicated with and policies and terms of usage will be reviewed and updated as necessary. And all students and parents will receive internet use education. Category 3, resolving the issues based on promoting the success of all students. I will promote the success of all students by acting with integrity, fairness, and in an ethical manner as I gather evidence and preserve the evidence. It will be very important that the confidentiality of Ms. Walker as a target is respected. Each one involved in the process will be instructed to also act with integrity, fairness, and in an ethical manner. I will promote the success of all students by acting with integrity, fairness, and an ethical manner as I provide support to Ms. Walker throughout the process. I will monitor her mental and physical states as the investigation is ongoing. It will be important that she maintain a, as much as possible, normal classroom environment and continue teaching the curriculum. The improvement plan for her teaching needs will be secondary at this time. I will promote the success of all students by acting with integrity, fairness, and in an ethical manner as this internet use violation is resolved. Based on the internet use policy, our school lawyer recommendations, and the email and website terms of usage guidelines where the material was originated from, the appropriate punishment will be given. There will also be a thorough policy review, and future students, parents, and staff communications regarding internet use policy will be more direct and ongoing. Category 4, debrief the problem, reflecting on what I was thinking. My initial thoughts were focused on Miss Walker and her safety. I did not like the idea of her making that 6-hour trip to her parents' home, but for that night it probably was what was best for her. My next thought was to report this incident to my supervisor. I immediately contacted my superintendent and reported the incident. I also gave thought to the school and district policies regarding internet use. I reviewed the timeline for the internet use agreement and signatures for this school year. Reflecting on what I was feeling, I felt a sense of disappointment. As a principal, the students and staff are in my care, and somewhere along the way our school's value system has been attacked. I felt a sense of urgency to begin gathering evidence and reviewing policy, but I also knew in my urgency I would need to be careful and concise so that all evidence would be upheld. I felt committed to the process of fulfilling my legal obligations by applying the laws and procedures so that everyone is treated fairly and considerately. What was I valuing? As an administrator, I value professional code of ethics, and I'll promote the success of all students by acting with integrity, fairness, and in an ethical manner. I value Ms. Walker and all of our staff. I will model the pillars of a caring school community. I value our students. I will protect the rights and confidentiality of all students and staff, and I realize I will be open to public scrutiny. What was unresolved or open for further investigation? One of the most important things was where the email originated from, off campus or on campus. If it was off campus, we'll have to prove that it caused or threatened to cause disruption at school. I need to know how Ms. Walker plans to proceed if it did occur off campus and disruption did not occur. Ms. Walker and I will need to work together on her improvement plan so that she has the opportunity to become more successful in the classroom and offer a classroom environment with less stress to students. Category 5, reflection. I demonstrated a sense of integrity and ethical behavior by serving as a model for all school community members. In all meetings and communication, I protected the rights and confidentiality of students and staff. I applied the laws and procedures fairly, wisely, and considerately. I expected all others in our school community to demonstrate integrity and ethical behaviors. I acted with fairness while addressing the issues. While Ms. Walker believes she knew who may be behind the email and website, I treated everyone fairly as we investigated and collected evidence so that all truth would be uncovered. As the principal, I accepted responsibility for school operations. I required all staff to also meet the expectations of fairness and to cooperate during the investigation. Once all the evidence was collected and a responsible party was identified, I saw that all laws were upheld. I demonstrated my personal and professional code of ethics while addressing this issue. The parents were already upset with Ms. Walker, and I knew this would become an issue when the case became public. Regardless of the outcome, I accepted the consequences and upheld my principles. Throughout the investigation, I continued to be committed to the development of a supporting and caring school environment. I used the following works in putting together this case study: Nathan Essex, A Teacher's Pocket Guide to School Law, Green's book, Practicing the Art of Leadership, and Nancy Willard's materials on Center for Safe and Responsible Internet Use, and an Educator's Guide to Cyberbullying and Cyber Threats. As a building principal, I learned from this incident. Our students, staff, and parents also became more aware of the seriousness of the internet use violations and the impact these violations can have on all individuals who are involved.